Outer Range up to episode 6, season 1. We're going over comments. Spoilers up ahead.
Hey everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. So we are all caught up with Outer Range, and now is our favorite part, which is digging in with the thoughts and theories with the community and reading your guys' comments. And we cover a lot of other shows, so Raised by Wolves, we're going to hear that referenced here today. We have Severance, a lot of other shows. We're covering Halo for a while, so all kinds of stuff on the channel. So check out asart.space for all the audio and video links for the content we have. All right, so Soundwave Surfer, kind of a quick one, but very much along the lines of us as well. He says, I just watched all 6 episodes today. Glad you guys are watching it. Yeah, so
that was basically us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're kind of always bummed when we enter this. I mean, next week, supposedly, some people are saying that's the end of the season. That's the season finale. We're kind of bummed we only really got to cover it for 2 weeks. But it's kind of fun. Every week we're getting 2 hours of content, almost like a full-length movie.
Yes.
And we're glad to be covering it as well.
Super
and again,
excited.
This is the community that got us along this. Yeah. All right, so Chris Wiz says 8 total episodes. The finale. Oh, this is what I just referenced. 8 total episodes. The finale is next week with the final 2 episodes airing. The show came and went too quick. I wish it was 10 episodes. It's already almost over. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Nick. Nick and I haven't talked about it aside from, wow, they're releasing it 2 episodes at a time. Do you like the 2 episodes at a time, or do you wish that it was 1 episode at a time? I'm torn. I go back and forth.
Yeah, it's tough. I like the discussions where we can break down 1 episode a week. Because I feel like when we talk about it, like just even if we just call each other, it's much easier talking about 1 episode than, like, for example, we try to watch The Witcher all the way through and talked about it, and then we're just like all over the place. It's like here, but no, that was episode. What I mean? Where when you break it down episode by episode, I just feel like you can get really in depth with your conversations. Yeah. You can really break it down. You can see what's good, what's bad, and I think for stuff like discussing and theorizing, I like 1 episode a week.
Yeah, these type of shows, like Nick said, in one of the main goals for this channel is we're covering stuff. We want to see the artistry and everything around us, but also if we're covering something like a show, the fun about these type of shows that are thought-provoking is talking about it with your friends. And Nick and I would talk about this, but how much more fun has it been for us with Raised by Wolves and Severance to be able to talk with all of you nerds too? Like, you know, we're able to nerd out like in our full nerd forms here. So the downside is we don't get as many opportunities to do that when we're getting 2 episodes at a time. The upside is I'm a person who hates to wait for content. I waited until halfway through season 8 of Game of Thrones to start watching it or something like that. So for me, I like this format as a consumer, but for conversation pieces, I don't like it quite as much. So, yeah. All right. So Kim Garrity says, hi, guys. I'm loving your channel. Thank you. We're loving having you. I think it's at the beginning of episode 5 that they show Royal crawl out of the pit as a boy. Wayne is there. He is a boy, too. He sees him crawl out and runs away. So are we all in agreement that is for sure Royal, or are we not sure? It looked almost like a Holocaust, kid. He's all covered in,
Yeah, because they have the pixie dust, whatever the dust is.
Pixie dust. That's not from the Holocaust. What are you talking? Pixie dust.
No,
Nick,
but
you need to work on your history,
like
sir.
when that material he rubs in, it's like the black sparkly stuff. I call it pixie dust. I don't know what it is. It could be space dust. I mean,
we got so much hate comments in Raised by Wolves because we kept calling the fuel compound milk, and everybody's like, it's not milk, and Nick's just like, oh yeah, milk. Well, we were both saying that after a while. Funny. It's like, yeah.
But so funny story, just so you guys know, we recorded that video twice last week. And,
yes, we did.
And we did a whole thing where we like totally broke down, like talking about the hand coming out, and we talked about it. Yeah. It was to the point when we noticed one of our cameras wasn't recording. We're like, oh no, we did this 30-minute video. We got to refilm it.
Yeah.
We left out so much stuff, but we also brought in some other good stuff, which was awesome. But like I must have like thought we talked about it, because I think I totally forgot to mention it.
Yeah. We did talk about it, but yeah, it's I'm assuming it's Royal in that the dialogue, the audio of Wayne is talking about Royal, but then it's just a random kid. So I was a little bit confused by that, but at the same time, it sounds like Kim is under the
I think it is
belief that it's Royal, and it would make sense because he can't remember stuff. For the most part, he has a picture, and he does have some memories about his mom and dad. So he's not like Amy, right?
Yeah.
Well, so he's not
Wait, you're thinking of Autumn. Sorry, Autumn.
Autumn.
But we
Yeah,
think Autumn is Amy. That's why we get confused.
Oh, that's right. I'm already so I was like, oh, why did I get that wrong? Oh, because Autumn is Amy. Maybe we'll find out maybe next week. But yeah, so he doesn't have much memories and things like that. Seems like, but he has memories because he was talking about it to his son. But that got a lot of attention from him when Autumn was saying, like, you know, are you like me where you don't have memories? And he was enthused by that. So it's going to be very interesting. The way they're editing the show, I'm assuming it's royal, but at the same time, we never had it specifically mentioned. Yes, that's,
and then who else would it be though? Like at this point, it's
just
so
a
tough.
random.
Yeah, it could be a whole other character we don't know about who's like, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny? Like when I go back and I get overlays, John, I was looking at Amy's drawing that she gave to Royal in season 1. Remember when they get out of church and she did like an art piece?
Yeah,
and she gave it to him? They're all wearing yellow.
I didn't notice that.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. Like this has been embedded. I'm like, because, you know, we talked about yellow and the cult stuff in the last video. So I was like,
oh, I didn't realize.
Oh my gosh, they're all
wearing
yellow. Yeah. Anyways.
That's a good point. So that goes towards the, you know, the Autumn Amy theory even more. That's interesting. Cool. Any other thing about that one?
No.
All right. So Nay Foss says, Royal did something horrible when Amy and Royal were arguing in the field. Amy screamed, "Tell your family," and Royal painfully screams, "They won't understand." And so she's asking the question, like, well, what did Royal do? Also, the only modern hip hop song is played is when bipolar Amy is hitching a ride to the pharmacy, and you hear what she's listening to, and the lyrics are something like, "I have royalty royal in my DNA." And she goes, "Not a coincidence." And then we don't have it here, but yeah, it was really good find. And somewhere in the comments, someone else had pointed out, like, wow, I didn't even notice that. So yeah, that's very true, because I kind of was thrown off when we had that kind of more, I don't want to say current time song, because a lot of these songs are, you know, recognizable, but yeah, it was a different type of song.
It was a different type for the show. Yeah, big time.
And very much like in the Severance show we were reviewing, there was a Ace of Spades, and they're like, yeah, the lyrics go along with it perfectly. Yes. And so in this case, this might be the same thing. So Nay, really good catch on that. It's cool.
Yeah, it was a perfect catch.
All right, so let's see. So Emily Siegel, the creator of the show, said the animals are almost spirit animals for each character. So that goes along with what you were saying, Nick, right? That they have spirit animals.
I just thought they were the bison represented one family and the bear represented the other one. I guess you can say spirit animals. And I went as far to say Wayne was talking through the bear. Which I have to do. I have to just He's like, is this on? Yellow. The word yellow was said.
Yeah, it's funny. You know what? I thought it was like they have the bison on the wall. They have the bear, the stuffed bear. I thought that was, you know, more. It's like that's that bear, that's that bison. But we got this little insight from Emily here saying the creator of the show says that it's basically representing the characters. That's kind of interesting. So the bison is Royal or the bison is Autumn?
I don't know. We're kind of switching it because Cecilia's with the baby bear too. So I don't know if the bear is supposed to be Royal's family, but then like the bison busts in during the poker game.
Card. Yeah, that
and then we've seen the bison a couple times now on the road. Like the bison's definitely doing more to affect the world than the bear is right now. Yeah. The bison was in the middle of the road to drive the guy off with the car. Yeah, so we'll see.
The bison is a Roman. Yeah. All right, let's see. So we have Dez Vogler. Sorry if I got that completely wrong, but Dez says, that's what I've been saying, that Autumn and Amy are the same person. Also, some of the cutaways go from Autumn to Amy. And I think, Nick, you had noted that as well. And I think Dez was kind of making reference to that. So, yeah. So the cool thing is I hadn't made that connection. Nick had, and then a lot of you were like, oh yeah, like this seems very much, you know, in line with it. So it's kind of fun that your theory is getting confirmation, or at least you know, has some legitimate thought behind it. Let's see. So James Fraley, is Amy 9? If so, she is definitely Autumn. Royal is clearly from the past, as the picture he hides is of his parents, which is a 10 type old photo. I didn't even think about that. It's like really old photo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, because when I think of if any of you guys like, Western stuff, I apologize, but I think of it, I associate it more with like Western movies, like older, time periods. But you're right. That's like an old tin type folder. For that to be his parents, if it was his great grandparents, that'd be a different thing. But he takes it out that's his parents. So that's very interesting.
It would have to be stuck with him, right? Like when he went through, it's like whatever's on you comes through with you. Yeah. So it's like something might have even happened to his parents, which caused him to run through the hole, or something like that, where he's like, he had the thing, and
what does it sound like again?
There you go. It's like I'm Mr. Bill, Mr. Bill
so
reference.
That's a good catch, James, because the photo was old. And like there's family photos in my family, and
he's
that my
hiding
mom
it
has,
for some reason.
That you see those, but they're like, well, maybe the reason he's hiding is because it's so old. Like, hey, who's this? This is my parents from 1832. It's like, so that makes sense why he'd be hiding that. But then again, it's a secret to him that he only revealed to his son. That like, not both of my parents died. So I guess it's just maybe a conversation piece he didn't want to bring up. But why? If he was from the past, like James is, suggesting, that would definitely.
It's so funny now because now I'm trying to think of big moments that happened in Wyoming, like in history.
Oh, in history.
You know what I mean? Because that would like maybe I don't want to say like Civil War, but like I don't know how back this is going. When we say old photograph, I mean, I think around the Civil War is when photographs were kind of coming into being a thing, right?
On those pin type.
I don't know, but. Yeah,
I'd have to see the picture again. I thought it was just a photo.
My head's just spinning like, what happened in Wyoming? What happened?
All right, let's see. So Jesus or Jesus Judas. I think it's Jesus Judas. All right, let's see. So great call back to Raised by Wolves in the opener. Yeah, we definitely loved to Raised by Wolves. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly time shenanigans are interesting if presented well. I'm very glad I was able to keep up with reading that. And I'm definitely enjoying this one. I like the merging of the ranch/Western aesthetic with the science fiction concept of time travel in modern day. I call the show a modern Western sci-fi. Yeah, you know what? Because we were asking, what would you categorize this at? Like, what is Amazon actually categorizing as? Because I just looked up the show and we started watching, but I didn't really look at what it was categorized as. Because it's not a hardcore science fiction in and of itself. It's very much kind of like a almost drama, but modern Western sci-fi. I guess that's like a good classification for it.
And it's scary with time travel. You can really mess up a show with time travel. You really can. And like there's been some shows too where like time travel really messes it up. I think the only people that have it correct to this day is still Futurama. But because they had scientists as writers on that show. But like it's tough, right? Because it can be an scapegoat for a lot of unanswered questions or things like, time travel, like, okay, all right. How come the mountain disappeared? Time travel, it's just like, it's like.
If it's a cool, just
Back to the Future time travel.
Yeah. Back to the Future, they didn't hover too long or focus too long on the science of it. It's just like,
basic rules.
Back in time.
Yeah,
basic rules. And, they don't contradict each other too much, but it's not focused on. The more you focus on time travel itself, I think was what Nick is getting at. It gets messier. So, I mean, when you start relying on that as the main crux of what's going on, then again, I haven't seen the like the Doctor Strange, movie that's going to be coming out. Like that's all about, so that type of stuff. I know people are really amped for that, and maybe it's going to be great. Like I thought, Endgame was not nearly as good as Infinity War, and partially it's because I didn't like the whole time travel idea and how, he doesn't know who they are anymore and blah, blah, blah. That's a whole other conversation, but what Nick is saying I do agree with is that time travel can get messy very quickly. And we don't always want to know the exact science of it. It's just a plot device there. It's having some things happen. We don't know. We don't need to know why. It's just this mystical thing. But like Nick was saying, but like Nick was saying, is this alien? Is this, just material? Like that type of stuff, it might be fun to learn about, but we don't need to know the aliens made this while they were breaking apart the atom of blah, 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 and a blue, blue, blue. Like we don't need to know that stuff, All right. So
I really like these words we're using, the blah, 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 blue, blue, blue.
And I'm going to say this one more time from Jesus Judas. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly time shenanigans.
Dang, we got to make that a shirt.
That's right. All right, let's see. And last but not least, we have 97 Linds, Lynds. I might pronounce that wrong, sorry. Tillerson boys are blonde and blue-eyed, and Autumn is showing Billy some interest. Interesting, perhaps. Did you discuss the boy who came out of the void, covered in dust, and grabs young Wayne in the flashback in episode 5? Royal? ? And is the opening visual in the opening title sequence revealing the origin of the void? Have you made anything of the opening credits? I mean, it's clearly going about the idea of the pit, but
yeah, it's so funny because it's like we were examining all that like crazy for Raised by Wolves and stuff like that, and I think after reading this, I'm like, I need to pay more attention to stuff like that. It's so funny because like we crammed in the episodes, like and like we were talking about earlier. It's tough sometimes when you cram in 6. I mean, it's fun, but then it's also tough because then like when we're trying to break stuff down, everything just feels like one episode. So you're like, oh, what episode was that? Oh, did that happen already? And I get kind of confused. But
yeah.
But I thought it was also very interesting. Maybe she's not Amy. You know what I mean? Like it could easily be another family member from the future. It can be other things. But I mean, so many clues point to Amy. Like I really feel like so many clues point to Amy, and they're not trying to hide it really well too. I feel like they're doing it on purpose. How many clues we're getting? Like they're really trying to set the stage like this. Like the eye color, they both have like really blue eyes. They have like
Billy and her. You mean?
Well, Amy and Autumn. They both have really blue eyes, like really blue eyes. So I'm just like, oh, that's tough to hide that. It reminds me of Naruto, like. His dad was a Hokage, and he had blonde hair, blue eyes, and he had blonde hair, blue eyes, and no one else had blonde hair, blue eyes. In the whole village, it was like so obvious, like that's your dad.
And but I do appreciate that they're not just hitting you with the surprise, and they didn't give you any opportunities to come to it on your own. I'm sure it's a big balancing act trying to figure out like how much information are we going to give us to let them arrive at that knowledge on their own, without just making it, too obvious. And it seems like a lot of, listeners here, watchers here, in the community have noted that the same way that you did. But at the same time, I think we're still wondering about it. It's not like, oh yeah, of course it's her. We're still wondering about it. So it's nice that there's still some mystery to it. But yeah, I mean, like was said in this comment, it's interesting that the Tillerson boys are blonde haired and blue eyed, and Autumn is basically, the kind of the same, and then, showing some interest.
And she's really showing interest in that family too. She was like, she went to the funeral. She was at, after the funeral, and now this whole thing, showing the whole, it's you could definitely tell like paths are really starting to cross now.
Yeah. I almost viewed it as, okay, whatever her goals are, she was trying to go through, Royal's family, and it's, Josh Brolin, Royal, wasn't having that, and he took her for a ride, and she's like, "All right, I have to go a different route." But it's just interesting. The voice she heard was
really trusted him a lot too.
Tell him, yeah. But it's just interesting that tell him, not tell them, or tell the Tillersons. It's tell him, and then she went straight to Billy, who happens to be the one that everything's being left to. So it's like,
coincidence? I think not.
So really, really fun stuff. We're going to be, of course, talking about the last couple episodes, assuming these ones coming up are the final episodes. We'll also probably be diving into some theories and ideas of our own after that episode, and then we'll probably be doing some comment videos over the next number of weeks, kind of revisiting all this and seeing all along the way what you all in the community have to say, and probably continue to do some comment videos because that's really fun.
Yeah, we're trying to catch up with this outer range stuff. They released this show. Prime does this to us. I feel like they did that with The Boys and other shows we watch. It's like, whoa, they're all live all of a sudden. It's like they're so random with their posting.
Yeah, they'll release it a little bit early, then they'll do one, then they'll do two. You're like, The only thing I think of why they decided to do twos is maybe scheduling. They don't want it to conflict or overlap too much with something else they're releasing. But I'm not sure. Obviously, I have no idea. But it seems like it had a budget. I mean, the actors and actresses all been doing a very good job. It's not a visual effects heavy movie, but there's some in there. And then also
got furry animals.
There's a pretty good amount of sets. Yeah, I mean, the animals are very well done. Like, the animals look really, really good. So, I mean, it definitely had a budget. I mean, Josh Brolin's a very high, level actor, respected in Hollywood. Some of the other ones I'm not quite as familiar with, but like
Very
Royal's
talented.
Wife, very recognizable, and a lot of the other ones too. So
is Wayne.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember what Wayne it was in.
Yes, he's in a lot of stuff
He
though. I
looks
really like
so
him.
familiar to me too. I'm like, what? I think he's in a space movie. I think he's like not Apollo 13 or something, but he's like one. I remember him
really?
I just remember him at a space thing or something like that. I don't know. He looks so familiar to me. I gotta look him
I've
up on
seen him in a
IMDb.
number of things.
Yeah.
I just can't
It's like
remember
Matt.
what it is.
It's like Matt, the police officer. I was like, our flags mean death.
Yes. That guy is so funny. Yeah, if you guys have not seen Our Flag Means Death, check it out on HBO Max. The assistant sheriff or whatever you call him, working at the police station, is in that, and he plays a hilarious role. And yeah, I keep thinking he's going to make jokes in this show, but he's not that type of role. But from Our Flag Means Death, I keep thinking he's going to. So fun stuff. Cool, you guys. So let us know down in the comments what you think about the information that the community has given us, and what do you think, and how do you think this last stretch of the show is going to end up? And obviously after that, we'll be talking about like what ended up happening and where it's going to go from there. But in the meantime, we get to continue to try and think what's going to happen here. So check out AsArt.space for all the audio and video links. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next AsArt. Going through the pit.
We going into the pit.
Get the serious look.